Okay, welcome back. So today I'm going to take the truck to the scale. I usually just go to like a local junkyard and I drive across the scale and then I leave. So I haven't gotten in trouble doing that yet. They don't say anything because they're like inside the building and stuff. So we're going to do that. I'll drive across to snap a picture. Last time I went across the scale, it weighed 4380 and that was with the 4-wheel drive setup in there. I can't remember if it was the twin or single turbo setup. I could probably look back at the time frame and see when it was. But it was a 4-wheel drive setup. It weighed 4380, which a lot of people are surprised by that because it's a Ford Ranger, so it's typically recognized as like a light truck because everybody thinks a Ford Ranger is like 1,800 pounds, and that's not true. So this is actually similar weight to like a single cab short bed Silverado, surprisingly. So my goal for the truck was to try to get it down to 3,800. I took a lot of weight out of it with the 4-wheel drive removal. So that's like transfer case, axles, front diff. And then I also removed the torsion bars. We went to coilover setup. I removed the factory leaf springs and I have a split mono leaf back there now. So that took some weight out. Just curious to see where we are for a starting point for weight. I would like to get the truck down to like 3,800. And this is also going to be like a first long drive for me. So I'm going to be going probably like 20 some minutes one direction and then 20 some minutes back. We'll have some highway driving, some city driving, and I'm just going to monitor temps and make sure everything's working okay there. So let's do it. Actually kept coming down. It was like holding around 170. So I turned the fans off. And I drove for probably like, I don't know, 8 minutes. And the fans never turned on. Now the fan just turned back on now that I exited. So it's at 192 right now. See what it does, kind of just cruising through the town here. forklift, I turn around and he goes like this. He like looks out of the window and he starts going like this. So I know there's a couple guys that work there that actually watch the channel and they know kind of who I am and when I'm in there getting stuff. So they probably recognized the truck and knew who I was, so that's kind of funny. I think I've been driving about 45 minutes now. Highest coolant temp I saw was 193. And I've been kind of cruising around in town, like 20 miles an hour, 25, 30, stop and go lights, stop signs. Transmission temp is 107. Coolant temp right now is 188. Okay, well I made it back. Truck is okay. When I pulled in, the coolant temp was at 190 and trans temp was at 119. So pretty decent. I did let it sit and idle for like 5 minutes. It started to climb when it was just sitting idling. I got up to like mid 190s and then I just started to drive just to bring the temps back down. But like stop and go cruising in the city, stoplights, stop signs, as long as I'm moving a little bit, it seems like it's fine. So maybe the fans just need to be a little bit stronger, but other than that, it's just loud to drive. It's like loud and droning because the exhaust is right underneath the cab. So I do have the mufflers for it, just some Flowmaster FlowFX mufflers. So I do plan to put those on and then do the full exhaust with it. And the catch can is breathing quite a bit. So that's what the smell that I was smelling was in the cab, was that oil smell. So it's definitely breathing, and that's where I was getting the oil from. But other than that, it seemed like it's okay. The temp checks were good. Cruise is good. The good thing about it is when I do start to move and cruise, the temps do come down. So I think the fans and the radiator setup is like borderline there. It's like really close, but nothing that I'm too concerned with at this point. So I did put the hood on. I did also put a tonneau cover on the back of it. I've had this tonneau cover for like over a year and probably 2 years now, and it was just rolled up and I never even installed it. So it's installed now. So we actually got something that resembles a truck now. So I'm liking where things are at right now. Everything seems mechanically to be working well. I do got to make some adjustments to the suspension, I think, even just for driving, because it's kind of real bumpy yet. Got to get that figured out. I just have all the shock settings like right in the middle settings right now. But yeah, 3780. I got 600 pounds out of the truck. So this thing was at 4380 before, 3780 with me in it now. Probably can't really see it, but I used about a third of the tank. So I was driving it for about an hour, 20-gallon tank. But if I use the Wallace Racing calculator and I put in the mile per hour of 138 with the current weight of 3780, we can figure out kind of ballpark what power it's making. So 138 at that weight, if they're 3780 is about 760 on 16 pounds. So that seems like it's right where it should be. Maybe, I think, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell because I did pedal it so many times. And usually if you have a not so great 60 foot, you have a higher mile an hour. A lot of assumptions here, but if you could get this to do a 1.360 foot and take a full second off of that at 138, you'd be at 10.1 when I know the Mustang was doing around 980 within 3 miles an hour of where this was. So I feel like it's there to go 9s pretty easily once it can get it to hook. A lot more confident in it now that I know that it's under 3,800 pounds. And that's still on relatively low boost, like 16 pounds. So I think what I'll probably end up doing before turning it up at the track is just try to figure out how to launch it and get it to stick at 16 pounds. Might try to set up a dyno day with Hunter. We've been talking about doing that. So that'd be kind of cool. Maybe we could get this thing to make 1,000. That's kind of the goal for the truck, is make 1,000. I'd like to be able to go 9s with it and be able to drive it. So those are the goals, and we just got to start knocking them out.